Hello, I'm Georgina Rose and welcome back to the Dr. YouTube channel. On this channel, we discuss everything related to magic, mysticism, religion, and everything on the fringes of esoterica. And if you noticed, I normally don't upload on this week. I've completely changed my uploading schedules. I'm going to be doing videos weekly, and I'm moving to a new podcast, Catharsios Press Radio, which will be releasing twice a month. You can listen to that podcast on www.catharsiospress.com or on the Catharsios Press Substack or on Catharsios Press Radio on Spotify. By now, the first episode of that will have come out, so check out my new podcast. Also, my book, Planetary Theurgy, Ascent Through the Seven Veils, also from Catharsios Press, is still up for pre-order. So if you want to support me, definitely check out this book. It's all about how to, basically do planetary magic and ascend towards the Godhead, sort of in the order of the planets as they fall on the Kabbalistic tree of life. So with all that said, let's now get into the video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to use astrology to find your true will. So true will is one of the key parts of the Thelemic journey. It is really, I think, what sets Thelema apart, is that Thelema does not just say you do magic, it says you do magic in order to discover your true will, live in alignment with your true will at all times, and then accomplish the great work. And what is the great work? The great work is dissolution into the Godhead, annihilation of the self, and unity with divinity. And true will is a key step on the journey there. I think a lot of people misunderstand true will. True will is often defined as basically like your life path, and that's only part of the truth. True will is a state of being. There's a reason why Crowley recommended people read the Tao Te Ching, because the Tao is a state of being, much like true will is. True will is a constant lifestyle, a constant thing you are aligning with at all moments. What you eat, that relates to your true will. How you, move, that relates to your true will, right? Everything relates to your true will. And there's a specific exercise done in Thelema called saying will that you say before meals. Now, I will say, I don't know a lot of Thelemites who do this before all meals. I think it's often done as like a group thing, or people do it periodically, but I think it's a really good thing to think upon, where basically when you say will, you bring up the food, you bring up the water, and you ask yourself, why am I eating this? And it's so that I can nourish my body and then accomplish my true will. So true will is constant. It is not just a singular answer to a question, though I will say, and I will give the nuance of sometimes part of your true will is answering those questions about life path, trajectory, possibility, and basically true will is a discovery. True will is given to us by divinity, and we must do ritual and whatnot to discover and align with our true will. And of course, the traditional process that people do in order to align with their true will is this thing called knowledge and conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel, which I've been talking a lot about in the past few weeks. But there are other ways to get some insight. Now, I'm not saying by doing these things to gain insight, you don't have to do the HGA work. You still do. But this stuff can be really helpful in beginning your journey, understanding it and maintaining sort of a conscious awareness of your true will. And one of those key ways that you can do it outside of HGA work is to look at your astrology. So we have this thing called a natal chart, your birth chart. I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of it. And it is basically your soul docs. It is a photo of your soul, of your pure selfhood, of your destiny, of your life. It is your entire life in a singular image. And from this natal chart, we do see our true will. Now, we see big clues to our true will. We don't see every single choice we'll ever need to make sort of shown in the chart, but with it, we can see a lot of information about our true will. And there's actually a number of points in the natal chart that really point to the true will. There's not a singular one. I will be talking about a number of placements. I do think two are probably the most helpful, but I think all of these are really important. When I was creating this list, I realized that it's actually a lot of things, but all of these are big clues into, what your true will is. So whenever we're talking about astrology, I believe you have to start with looking at one placement. No matter what you're doing, there's one placement you have to look at first. And this isn't our most important for true will, but it's still very, very important. And that is the rising or the ascendant sign. So rising, ascendant, ASC. This placement is essentially, I would say, the light over yourself. So many people define the rising as people's first impression of you. And that's kind of how it shows up. I think on a day-to-day basis, that's what the rising feels like. But that's not the whole story with the rising. If you're in a room, the rising is the light above your head, right? The rising is how people see you. And from the rising is where you begin all your new starts, all your new beginnings, because it's in the first house, which is the house of new beginnings. So this rising sign is really, really important. And one of the ways in terms of true will that's really important for it is based upon the rising sign, you get your planetary chart ruler. So whatever planet rules your rising sign, that planet rules your chart. And that is going to be a natural spiritual connection you have. And by turning to your chart ruler, specifically in ritual, whether that's theurgy or invocation, you can get a lot of insight into your true will. For me, I'm a Leo rising, which I don't think will surprise anyone, so the sun rules my chart. Check your own charts. Now, there are a couple other placements that sort of come off the rising sign that I think can be a little bit helpful for true will. I wouldn't call these, the most essential placements, but I do think they're worth bringing up. So off the rising, we get the midheaven. The midheaven is the highest point in the sky, and the midheaven is basically your public life. I have a Substack essay about how to use your midheaven to be as successful as possible in your career. But basically, the midheaven, it's your career, it's your vocation, it's your public reputation, and it is the legacy you leave behind after you die. By embodying or tapping into the archetype of your midheaven sign, you do tend to get the most material success. When it comes to reaching towards your true will, with the parts of your true will that do relate to public life or career or those type of themes, I do think the midheaven can be a really powerful spiritual ally on that journey and process. Now, the next one is the descendant. So the descendant, I think, is deceptively important. Like, people think it's more important than it is. The descendant is who you are when you're with people you really trust, marital partners, when you're alone. And that descendant, it really can feel like the true self, but this can be an illusion. I think the descendant can be a really big trip up on people's true will journey. They can discover their descendant sign and be like, okay, well, that's my true will because that's who I am when I'm with the people I'm most comfortable with, when I'm alone. But remember, that is deceptive. That is not actually who you really are. It's just kind of who you feel you really are and who you are in certain situations. You are the whole of yourself. You are not solely your descendant sign. Now, the last point is the IC. That's not too relevant on the true will journey, but just know that that also relates to these other placements. Now, the next thing I think you really want to look at, and I would say this is the most important thing for the true will journey, is going to be the nodes. So there are two nodes, the north node and the south node. When you pull your chart up on a chart generator, there is a very high chance you will only see the symbol for the north node. That's that horseshoe-like symbol. Wherever that is, draw a line across it. That's where your south node is. Now, if you're lucky, your program will pull up both on the wheel, but in many cases you do only see the north node. Ignore the true node. That's not relevant for these conversations. Just think about the north node and the south node. So this is a highly misunderstood set of two placements. And I think this also can sort of guide people astray when they're using their natal chart to kind of grasp into what their true will could be. So the common modern pop astrology interpretation of the nodes is that the south node is what you're running from and the north node is what you're running to. You'll definitely hear that phrase used a lot. And that's a big partial truth. The nodes are explored in much greater depth in Vedic or Eastern astrology. And I like their explanation of it much better because I think it really gets across what this journey sort of actually is. So according to Vedic astrology, your south node is very much your past life and your north node is very much your next life. And they are the two heads of the dragons. They are devouring, they are intense, and they are inherently malefic. You can think of them as eclipses built within the chart because they are the ecliptic axis. So what does that mean? Now that we understand the north node and the south node are both malefic, more malefic than Saturn or Mars. They are the most malefic thing in your entire chart. And one thing that I really like to read about the nodes is this amazing book by a Vedic astrologer I read called The Greatness of Saturn, A Therapeutic Myth by Robert Svedova. I think that's one of the most insightful books. It has two chapters, or one chapter on the nodes, one or two chapters on the nodes. It has like a chapter on each planet and it talks about the myths of the planet. It's a great book. Not at all about pragmatic stuff, like it's just about like astrology and the archetypes, but I think it's really, really useful, especially those nodes chapters, for understanding what the nodes actually are. But remember, both malefic, both bad. The idea that you need to reject your south node and become the north node, that doesn't make sense because what is the north node? Malefic. But at the same time, you don't want to abandon your south node. So the south node is very much a kind of past life vibe. The south node is your talents, your gifts, but where you hold debt. So depending on the person, the south node either is something that repulses you or feels really comfortable. I do see kind of differing opinions on how people feel about their south node. I will say when you are stressed out, you tend to regress backwards towards your south node and behave like your south node sign. But your south node isn't evil. Just because you regress into that, just because that's your natural tendencies, your natural patterns, your karmic baggage, doesn't mean it's bad, because once again, all your gifts come from the south node. Don't fear your south node, but also don't embrace it wholeheartedly. You don't want to lose yourself to the south node. That's the danger of the south node. The south node can devour you, and you can lose yourself to this unevolved and unprogressed version of yourself. Also, note what house your south node is in. That will say a lot about this whole story too. These houses are just as important. Now, your north node is very much kind of what you yearn for, what you want, what you desire, but you're not really good at your north node. You don't have any natural talents there. You don't have any experience there. So it's something you're learning about and growing towards and reaching upwards too. If you lose yourself in your north node, you're basically going to be very unsatisfied because you're going to be incompetent. You want to essentially, if I were to create the perfect nodal journey, as I would recommend, go into the south node, do your shadow work, right? Do all that shadow work, tap into your natural talents and your natural skills, and then use those natural skills and that shadow work integration to then move towards the north node. Essentially, your ideal nodal state is a state of harmony and balance, a unification of opposites. That phrase, we use it a lot in Thelema, don't we? You see how this gets a little phlegmic, even if Crowley didn't exactly write about this. So you want to find that alchemical harmony of the nodes. You want to be both. My nodes are on the Capricorn and Cancer axis. So for me, a big life challenge for me and a big theme within my true will is finding a way that Capricorn and Cancer can both show up in my life, and I can honor both fundamental parts of my polarity because they are your fundamental polarity. They are an opposition in your chart that represents you. So really look into your nodes, check them out. Think about the houses too, because those matter just as much because those are areas of life. And you will really see a large percentage of your true will visible in the harmony of the nodes. So the next thing that I think would be useful in learning your true will from your natal chart is your Mars sign. So Mars is the planet of war, aggression, sexuality, and willpower. So obviously willpower comes from Mars. Now, I don't think Mars is a bringer of true will, but I think it sort of is what energizes you and gives you power. So by leaning into your Mars sign, by invoking Mars or invoking the planetary ruler of your Mars sign, you will have more energy, more excitement, and be able to move towards your true will more effectively. It essentially is like a gas in your car, a really good gas too, like a really, really powerful gas. It's like jet fuel, but it won't melt. I'm not gonna go there. I had an intrusive thought. I didn't let it win. You guys can fill in the blanks. That was bad. But anyways, yes, so Mars is your powerhouse. This is the powerhouse of the cell. Your Mars sign is gonna get you there. So yeah, pay attention to your Mars sign, invoke the ruler of your Mars sign, and that will help you get to your true will. Now I wanna talk about your sun sign, because basically like HGA work or Holy Guardian Angel work is really solar. It really relates to Tiferet on the Tree of Life. And your sun sign is how you relate to the sun. Thelema is a solar phallic religion. We're all about the sun here. And the sun really does have a purifying quality to it. And how do you get your HGA? Purification. So pay attention to the sun because that is what's going to bring you purity, virtue, and bring you closer to your HGA. Interestingly, Jupiter also has a purification quality to it. So you could also kind of go that direction. But I would say probably for HGA work, the sun as a method of purification is a bit more popular. Now, another thing that can be impactful on your true will journey is your moon sign. So your moon is your emotional center. It's your heart. It's where you feel, right? It's all that ooey gooey stuff. But more importantly, in this case, not saying your emotions aren't important. Your emotions are very important. In this situation, we really care about the intuition and the subconscious. The moon is the ruler of your unconscious and subconscious mind. And often when we're new on our true will journey, we are really disconnected from our true selves. We are basically living in a constant state of delusion, illusion. We're falling for traps that aren't real. We're living in a constant state of confusion. And by connecting to the moon, we are able to begin that journey. I think the moon is really vital early on in the process. So yeah, connect to your moon sign, understand your moon sign, and learn your emotions, learn your unconscious. If you are blind to what your subconscious is telling you, you're never going to be able to do this journey. I'm sorry, you can't do it. Like, it's not possible to do this true will journey if you are ignoring everything your subconscious is telling you. Your subconscious knows more than you think. And as long as you are discounting your intuition, your instincts, and your subconscious, you're just not going to make it, right? You're not going to be able to do this true will journey. And so your moon sign allows you to understand and grasp your subconscious and make sense of it. Now, this is getting beyond the true will journey, but there's one more placement I want to talk about. And this is now we're getting into really advanced stuff. Okay, so when you figure out your true will and you want to do like crossing the abyss and all of that, that's Saturn. So learn your Saturn sign. When you get to advanced levels of mysticism, you really need to deal with Saturn and like the ability to dissolve and restrict and all of that. So yeah, you want to know your Saturn sign for all of that, because your Saturn sign is going to relate to your relationship with Saturn and how you deal with dissolution, abyss work, all of that. I just thought of one more placement. Okay, so now I'm basically just saying like use your whole natal chart, but Okay. When it comes to learning and wisdom, Mercury is the ruler of the mind, the intellect, quick thinking, communication, all of that. So your Mercury sign will really help you know how to study the mysteries. By sort of optimizing for your Mercury sign, you'll be a better student and you'll be able to take in information faster and memorize it, because in reality, when we do occultism, we have to learn all the things really, really quickly. So yeah. Now, I feel like I have basically said the entire sky, so maybe it is the entire sky. Our true will really is holistic. It encompasses the whole of us. So it does encompass like basically the whole of the chart. And I'm sure if I sat and thought about it, I could think about how even more placements relate to your true will. But these are the big ones that I would start with if you want to use astrology to understand and discover your true will. Once again, not a substitution for HGA work, okay? There's no getting out of doing purification, doing ritual, doing invocation. There's no get out of ritual free card. But I think this can be really helpful and insightful along your journey, and a good check, because your astrology is objective, right? It is objectively true and it's objectively there. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more of me, check out the Catharsis Press Radio podcast. Check out @darling on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Substack. I do a couple articles a month over on Substack. I'm here on YouTube. If you want to support me, please join my Patreon. You get bonus videos every month, ritual guides every month, and you can even meet with me to discuss your spiritual practice. Also, I'm an astrologer. If you want a reading from me, and we can do a reading where we look at your true will if you want, like just email .darlingcontact@gmail.com and I can get a reading set up for you. So with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day, afternoon, mid-morning, mid-evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Also, my book is cool, and you should read my book. All right, bye.